Hey guys, welcome to another YouTube video, and welcome back to the BBL match reviews for season 13. Today I'm going to be talking about three games again, and yet again. One of them included an abandoned game, which. Yeah, not surprising. That is not surprising. So as I said, the abandoned match between the Melbourne Renegades and the Perth Scorchers. Well, basically about 7 overs of it. Then of course the match up at UTAS Stadium in Launceston between the Hobart Hurricanes and the Sydney Sixers. And then finally, last night's match up at Monica between the Sydney Thunder and the Brisbane Heat. So let's get straight into it with the non-match between my boys, the Melbourne Renegades, and the Perth Scorchers, which was supposed to be the Scorchers' first game of the season. Now it looks like that today's game, as a recording is between them and the Melbourne Stars, is going to be their first official game. Which, by the way, I remember I watched last night while I was watching the Thunder Heat game last night. There was the front cover of I think it was the Western Australian, and it had guys such as Stoinis, Coulton, guys used to play, Western Australians that play for the Melbourne Stars, apparently calling them wannabe Scorchers. So just a bit of heat into that rivalry. So it was of course this game was played obviously at GMHBA Stadium at the G Town at Geelong. Which I'll be going to the start of next year, for holidays at least. So obviously the Renegades won the bat flip and elected to bowl first. There was much talk about the pitch, which I'll talk about later. Talk about in a bit. Stephen, of course, second ball. Didn't take long. Stephen Eskenazi got out LBW's second ball to Tom Rogers, but there was a bit of controversy in that because he walked straight off. Didn't go to Cooper Connolly to go up for the review. It was a bad decision because as it turned out from the ball tracker, it would miss leg stump by a long way. It was that by that much. It was not even by a little bit. It was by that much between the ball and the leg stump on the ball tracker. I can almost park a car in between that. That's how big it was, and immediately the commentators were like, I hope Eskenazi's not watching the replay because otherwise he would not be happy, which probably will. It was a bit of a slow start really for the Renegades trying to get used to the pitch. Obviously it was as I said, it was pretty discussed. It was massive discussion about it pre-game, as I heard. Aaron Hardy, of course, hit the first boundary. Of course, the Scorchers ended the power play at only 1 for 13, and only at a run rate of about under 3.5 and over. So it was pretty difficult to pitch there as well. Then Cooper Connolly. He went as well, caught behind for just 6 for a first catch for Quinton de Kock as a Renegade. Thank you very much. But before this, obviously, the chief himself, Will Sutherland, came on at the end of which, apparently from what I've heard, overnight, there was some rain around Geelong, and apparently water had gone underneath the covers and onto the pitch, onto one side of the pitch. But the problem was, with someone like Tom Rogers, who is a guy that likes to give it full because to get ball spool to make sure the ball swings at the start with the new ball. It's not much of a problem. But with someone like Will Sutherland, who is known for basically just banging into the pitch, that's when it starts having a few problems. And then just one ball to go before the end of the seventh over. The umpires called it off the field. There was some discussion about it, and they called it off because the pitch was dangerous. I assume some people would want me to have my opinion on this. Don't get it, like the umpires made the right call. They made the right call. Even Ricky Ponting said on commentary, "What if because the last ball before the umpires took the players off the field, a ball it was basically on about a good length, and it just bounced along one. It just bounced like it went beyond Josh Inglis's head, and even Josh Inglis was like, "What the hell's going? What the hell? That's not right." Even he knew as well, and even Quinton de Kock's reactions to the different balls down that same end where the damp pitch is. It was freaking hilarious. It was like, ooh, it was freaking hilarious. I dare you guys to find footage of it, and you'll freaking piss yourself laughing. It's freaking hilarious, his reactions to the different deliveries that were bowled from Will Sutherland. But as I said, they made the right call, in my opinion, umpires. Yeah, they probably could have had some, maybe they could have had other alternatives, but I believe the right call, and I hope that they reschedule like a match change, like originally it's supposed to be a match maybe at Marvel, and move it to Geelong, because that was the only game in Geelong for the whole season. I mean, with the Big Bash now reduced in terms of matches scheduled this year, because last season it was 14. Each team plays 14 games. This year's down to 10. This is the only game that is going to be in Geelong this year, and it was abandoned after 7 overs. So I hope they do it wouldn't hurt to have one of the 4 games at Marvel be shifted to GMHBA. And I just hope that this could be a thing where pretty much, if this similar situation happens again, like this is a rare occurrence, but if it happens again at a place like, for example, like places like Manuka Oval, the Junction Oval, Coffs Harbour, those type of stadiums where you only see one match, only see one match for that Big Bash season, obviously, because now it's a reduced tournament this year and in future years. There could be the possibility that they can choose one of their 4 home games, like, for example, the Renegades at Marvel, the Stars at the MCG, the Thunder at the Sydney Showgrounds. Say, look, I'll have this game be played at Monica. This game being played as well. So I hope that the Big Bash does do that, and because it's not, because those poor fans only saw 7 overs and that's it. And that's going to be about it. And that's probably the only time they're going to experience Big Bash cricket, because basically now with the reduced matches, that's the only time they're going to see them. So yeah, I hope they do. You know, I hope they do. Change this, hopefully, or maybe just add a second game at these other venues, like as I said, when the Renegades with the Junction Oval, of course the Thunder with Monica, have a second match have a second home match scheduled instead of one. I think that would be my plan of doing it, but yeah, so it was pretty slow, and it was the second straight match as well that was abandoned, obviously for a different reason, but yeah, still. So yeah, onto a match that actually got played out, and that was the matchup at UTAS Stadium at Launceston between the Hurricanes and the Sixers. So the Hurricanes, of course, they won the bat flip, and for the first time this season, a team actually won the bat flip and elected to bat first, because the first game, I believe, the Stars won the toss, selected to bowl. The Renegades won the toss in both the matches, both against the Sydney Sixers and the Perth Scorchers, and both times selected to bowl. And obviously, the Strikers Heat game was obviously abandoned without being bowled, obviously due to the rain. So it was the first time that this season that the winner of the bat flip chose to bat first. So yeah. And they started like a house on fire, to be honest, in the first power play. I mean, Matty Wade hit the first, and it was the first time really this season that the first boundary and the first 6 were all in the first over. The first boundary was off Matty Wade off the first ball of the match, and then 3 balls later, Caleb Jewell hit the first 6 of the game. So yeah, And Caleb Jewell, he was acting what Jake Fraser McGurk did the other night, where against the Sixers, where he was hitting everything out the park, and yeah. But Matty Wade, he was the first to go. He was out for 11, caught on the boundary. They ended the power play at 1 for 45. They were going at a rate of 11 runs and over, which was ridiculous. Really, a lot of those happened. Well, if you discount obviously the abandoned game between the Gades and the Scorchers, there's been a lot of power play overs that's gone from a lot of teams. It's gone above 10, way above 10 and over. So yeah. And then after this, the cards started to fall for the Hurricanes. Caleb Jewell went out for 42 from 24. That brought Sam Hain to the crease. He was caught and bowled. He didn't last long. He was caught and bowled for 3. Tim David then came out. He didn't last long either. Caught in the infield, which got Benny Dorsey's second wicket. In his first over, we got rid of Sam Hain, and then obviously got rid of Tim David. 2 big wickets there. Then the big wicket of Ben McDermott. He was out for a run of ball 11. Caught behind as well. And as I said, they were going at 11 runs and over in the first in the power play, in the 4 over power play. By the halfway mark, they were 5 for 73. So if I can do a bit of maths here, they lost 4 wickets, 45 and 73. so they were 5 for 73. So they dropped in. So in 6 overs, 6 overs after the power play, they had, I think it was 4 for 28. They lost 4 for 28 in 6 overs. In 6 overs, which was, and they dropped from 11 from just under 11.5 runs and over down to 7 and down to 7.5, down to just under 7.5 runs per over. Really on that front, but yeah, and then Chris Jordan, obviously he hung in there with Corey Anderson, but he got out to a split to a great catch from James Vince. Then in the 18th over, and then finally in the 18th over, the Hurricanes took their power surge. Paddy Dooley, who I didn't know you actually batted that well, to be honest. He got a good score together at 19 off 18 until he was caught in the deep. According to Deep, the windmill. And that was the last bit of action, pretty much in the innings. The Hurricanes ended their 20 overs 8 for 135. Of course, Caleb Jewell was the only shining light for the Canes with 42 for 24, hitting 7 fours and a 6. Tom Curran was the pick of the Sixers bowlers with figures of 3 for 19 from his 4 overs, which is great for him. So that left the Sixers needing 136 runs to win from the 20 overs at a required rate of just a tick under 7 runs and over to make it 2 wins from 2 this season. Pretty rare. The first boundary came off a leg bye, and then soon after the first boundary off the bat came off Josh Philippe. And then James Vince, unfortunately, he was caught. He was caught from a sharp catch from Big Peter, Big Peter Hadsoglu, because I mean we should call him Pete. Yeah, Pete Hadsoglu, pretty much. Former Renegade. Yeah, please Renegades, please get him back. And then unfortunately for the Hurricanes, Riley Merinoff, who was bowling like the wind in his first over or so, unfortunately did his quad during and it's not the same. His right quad. Apparently, he injured his left quad, but this time it's his right. And I would presume that he will miss the majority of the tournament, which is unfortunate for him. That he was just coming off of injuring his left quad, and now he has to recover from injuring his right quad at the same time. So the Sixers, they ended their power play 1 for 30. So it was a pretty low scoring, but with that for the Sixers compared to the Hurricanes as a power play. But the game slowly does get to the Sixers. It does get to the Sixers. Then. Josh Philippe, he looked good. He looked good again, just like the other night against the Renegades. Unfortunately, caught a backward point for 16 off 13 deliveries. Soon, and then soon afterwards, Daniel Hughes gets given out, caught behind, but he later reviews it. Which was revealed that excuse me. that it was actually that actually came off of his thigh pad, and unfortunately for him, it was one of these, and not out. So yeah, so last episode I did this one I did this time. So yeah, the Sydney Sixers got to the halfway stage in a sort of commanding position at 2 for 66. They still required 70 from their last 10 overs to win at exactly 7 runs and over. So yeah, and then unfortunately Moses Enriques, the captain, hits one straight down the throat of a short extra cover for 20 off 24. And then a long while afterwards, of course, the Sixers took their power surge in the 17th over. During that time, Daniel Hughes brought up his 14th Big Bash 50 in his career off just 45 balls. Only got at the time only got 4 fours. So yeah, and then just to continue with the review reversals, Jordan Silk was also given out called behind. He also reviewed, and it also turned out, I think I might need to check this as well. That it hit that, but this time it clipped his part of his pants. Part of his pants, which didn't hit the bat. So another one of these, not out. So yeah, eventually the Sixers ended their power surge at number 20. So do quick maths, that's basically 10 runs and over. But unfortunately, it wasn't. Jordan Silk didn't kick on to basically be there at the end. He was caught off a high catch from the keeper Matty Wade, which was the last thing of the match. It did go down to the last over, but only lasted the first ball of the last over. The Sixers only needed 1 to win, pretty much, off the last over anyway. So yeah. And got to the target with 4. Let me correct myself there. It took 2 balls into the over, so basically they won it with 4 balls to spare. Daniel Hughes, of course, led them over the line with 60 not out from 50 balls with 4 fours and a 6. Corey Anderson was the lone hand with the ball, lone hand for the Hurricanes with the ball. Taking figures of 2 for 10, great figures in the end. 2 for 10 for 3.3. The reason why the simple reason why it says 3.3 is because he was the one that replaced Meredith when he went off with his injury. So unfortunately, he couldn't bowl out his complete 4 overs. So yeah. So in the end, the Sixers won the match by 6 wickets. The first team to win while chasing in this tournament this season. So yeah, and not surprisingly, Hughes won man of the match for his knock of 60 not out off 50 balls. So currently, right now, the Sixers are definitely one of the clear favourites to win. Clear favourites to fill this tournament so far. Still early days, so yeah. Moving on now to the game last night at Manuka Oval between the Sydney Thunder and the Brisbane Heat, which was the Sydney Thunder's first game of the season. So the Thunder won the bat flip. And elected to bowl first, which has happened pretty much in 4 of the last 5 games that has happened so far in BBL 13. not surprisingly, Josh Brown, who came in, of course, for Usman Khawaja, who, of course, is over in Perth right now with the Australian Test side, which that is starting tomorrow as well, the West Test as well. Still think the Packies are gonna have a very tough time, especially their bowlers, against the likes of Smith, Khawaja, Warner, Smith, Lamashane, and Head. Let's put it that way. But yeah, so they won the toss, led to the bowl first. So Josh Brown, we all saw his breakout game against the Sixers last season, where he hit 62 from 62 from 23 balls or something like that. Hitting, and even because I watched it on Channel 7, even Callum Ferguson I think said Chris Lynn likes sixes, which is obviously they found a new Chris Lynn, obviously, and not surprisingly, second ball of the start of his tournament, he hit a six, and then 2 balls later he hit another six. so yeah, and then that was pretty much it for Josh Brown, pretty much. But fortunately enough, one of the reviews, of course hit him, hit LBW, which was given not out. The funder reviewed it, which appeared to be not out, but as it was revealed later, that actually was the reason why eventually Josh Brown didn't take the field for the Heat because of him being struck on the foot. So yeah, but they can't. But in credit to the funder, they really did tone it down after the early blitzkrieg of 2 sixes from Josh Brown. Limited to 1 for 25, obviously. That included the wicket of Brown, obviously caught in the deep for only 16 from 17. He only scored like 4 runs of about only scored like 4 runs off about at one stage about 15 balls after he hit those 2 sixes. So of course the Heat ended 1 for 25 from their power play. It would tick over a run and ball. And it didn't take until the 9th over for the first 4 of the innings to be hit, which was Colin Munro in his first game as the Brisbane Heat captain in the 9th over. So the Heat reached the halfway point of the innings, the 10 over mark, at 1 for 72. So they still had, and they were going at going at just over 7 and over, and they clearly had wickets in hand. And then afterwards, the 50 part, of course, Colin Munro and Nathan Mick Sweeney, who also came in for Marnus Lamashane, they also produced a 50-run partnership off 38 balls, something like that. Then unfortunately, McSweeney got caught by a great catch from Daniel Sams. But there's one catch that was better than that. I'll talk about that in a bit. So yeah. And then obviously soon afterwards, Colin Munro, with 4 runs shy of back-to-back BBL 50s, got caught off a really good catch from Nathan McAndrew, tight against the boundary line and throw it back. And it's one of those things you see from the modern players now, a lot from modern players nowadays. So yeah. So, and because of those 2 wickets, they probably the Heat could have taken a power surge a lot earlier, but they held it back to the 16th over, obviously because of those 2 wickets of those set batsmen in Mick Sweeney and Munro. they didn't concede any wickets, but they did score 20 runs in that power surge, which was we're saying went at 10 and over. Soon afterwards, Matt Renshaw was caught in the deep for 20 off 19. Off 19. Then came obviously, and then out came afterwards the Heat, the Brisbane Heat, its new cold hero, Paul Walter. It's not surprisingly, you might be thinking why I said that, because he's didn't know until last night he was bloody 7 foot tall. Jesus Christ! I think Tom Mooney is its title of Long Tom. I believe that's gotten rid of now. That title of Long is now belonging to Paul Walter now. I'm going to call him now. I'm going to call him Long Paul Walter now. But yeah, hit a 6 first ball, and then second ball got knocked over by Tanveer Sangha. Yeah, usual really. But and then in the final over by the Pakistani slinger himself, Salman Khan, Sam Billings got knocked over. Sam Billings got knocked over by Zaman. Then Michael Nisa came out, two balls into it, received another Yorker, and the singing bells went flying, and Zaman Khan got his second wicket in the over. And that's where it finished off from there. As the Heat finished their 20 overs on 7 for 151, which surprised a lot of people, because a lot of people combined with the pitch, it was a pretty good pitch. To be honest, it was a pretty good pitch for batting, and the Heat only got 151 from it, which surprised a lot of people. Everyone thought, the Sydney Thunder would probably knock it down pretty easily. So of course Munro yet again stepped up for them like he did in the first game against the Melbourne. Let me say it again. Just like the season opener against the Melbourne Stars, this time he got 46 from 33, two fours, even split, 2 4s and 2 6s. Tanveer Sangha was definitely the best of the Thunder bowlers with figures of 3 for 21 from his 4 overs. So a pretty good start with him his season with the ball. Which left, at the end of the day, it's left the Sydney Thunder needing 152 runs from their 20 overs to win the game at a required rate of 7.6 and over. So of course, new recruit or prize recruit, as they would say, if any of you guys are fans of the Sheffield Shield, that being Cameron Bancroft, moved from the Perth Scorchers to the Sydney Thunder. It got to a good start, hit a boundary first ball, and I like this bit of commentary. Commentary from Richo. First ball said, Sydney Thunder, hello. That was just great commentary. It was great commentary all night from the Channel 7 commentary team all night last night. And it was funny how basic. And then once I leaned into this, so I remember because the man who was on the mic was out in the field was Sam Billings, and it was Alex Hales actually. Was actually on the mic for the Thunder innings, and he said that the way because obviously Billings and Hales are basically know each other, obviously from playing in the England team, limited overs team, and he's like saying, he's gonna give a lot of stick behind the stumps, because obviously he's the keeper, obviously, and he's obviously up and about, obviously, and then get to Alex Hale's batting, and he may or may not have got out first ball. He got out for a golden duck, according to Slips. And I remember, ironically, Sam Billings was on the mic during out in the field for the Heat, and they chatted to him about it, and or Callum Ferguson brought it up, and basically, and I can't remember what he said, but he said something along the lines of, "Well, you saw that then." It just gave him a bit of stick. Yeah, I think he said something also along the lines of, "Well, I didn't get to do it that much because he only lasted one ball," which was hilarious, absolutely hilarious. Then out came, Matt Gilks, the Thunder keeper batsman. Originally, he was giving out he was giving out LBW, but he later only just reviewed it. By the way, only just in the nick of time went in and reviewed it, and it was found to have missing the stumps. And again, the umpire to do a bit of this, which I've done for about 3 times now in this video. But who gets the stuff? But it was to no avail in the end, because Matt Gilks played a ramp shot which mistimed and went straight down to throw shot third man for 3 off 10. And Bancroft looked in pretty good touch, to be honest. He also, along with the first boundary off his first ball, he also hit the first 6 of the innings. They of course, the Thunder ended the power play at 2 for 25, which was comparison to the Heat 2 for 25, which was pretty much the same, really, as the Sydney Thunder. Just my words there. Then soon afterwards, unfortunately, as he was in good touch and looked like he was going to get a good score, he was caught plumb in front LBW and did not even bother to go down the other end and see if can we go review, because he walked straight off. He knew that was going to be plumb as freaking hell LBW. And then that brought Alex Ross to the crease. That he didn't last long because this is the part where we got pretty much our first real catch of the tournament contender, and it was an absolute beauty as well from Michael Nisa. Absolute beauty. And some people had even compared it to Glenn McGrath's catch 20 odd years ago at the Adelaide Oval in the Ashes one time. It was that good. And it was funny, his reaction too. He was laughing after he took the catch. And all I did was just stood there and just went. I just went like that, and said, "What a freaking catch!" That's what I said. And so the first real early contender for, the first real contender for the first real contender for catch of the tournament, or maybe even catch of the summer, for all we know, to be honest. Because of that, the Thunder reached the halfway mark at 4 for 60. Still, and of course, still requiring a further 92 runs from their last 10 overs to win. Daniel Sams hit a 6, and it looked like that he might, have to be. He wants to be the one that would potentially, get him close to the target. Next ball, bang, knocked over by golden bollocks himself at the moment, Mitch Webson. For 11 off 9 deliveries. Soon afterwards, Ollie Davies, who up until then was pretty much the only after Bancroft was dismissed, he was pretty much the only resistance that was left, pretty much. And unfortunately, he got caught in the deep and for 35 or 30. But there was still a chance basically for them with the likes of Chris Green being there. They took their power surge, and I may have forgotten to add their power surge score, which I'll probably get into doing right now. As I'll try and search this up right now. That's a big bash. So sorry guys, this is not going so well here. Completed. Here we go. Military. Let's see. It was. I think So 10. So 10. So 10. So 10, 8, so 28 runs from there. 28 runs. 28 runs and a wicket from. 28 runs and a wicket from their power surge. By the way, I doing this last night, I forgot to add their power surge score. Sorry about that. But yeah. During that, obviously, that wicket was McAndrew. He hit one straight to mid on. 13 off 9 while he was walking off the long pole vaulter with the most slow motion celebration aeroplane celebration you'll ever see. Because obviously with him being 7 foot tall, only he can make the aeroplane celebration slow motion. Let's put it that way. But I love him. So yeah. Please, Melbourne Renegades, the next draft. Please take it. Please pick him up. Please, or do and have the Heat basically go. Nah, we want him back. But yeah. So then Chris Green, obviously, he looked like as the skipper, he's the one. Obviously, he would be the one that basically would lead him across the line, possibly lead him across the line. Unfortunately, he cuts one straight to cover and was pretty much over and out from there. Their last real hope. They were gone from that point. Hatcher was the next to go. He was knocked over by Xavier Bartlett. And then the next ball, Tanvir Sanger was knocked over as well. As the final wicket. As Xavier Bartlett got his third wicket, and the Thunder were bowled out in the 19th over for 131. Of course, Oliver Davies with the lone hand with 35 from 30 with 2 fours and a 6. Xavier Bartlett was the best of the bowlers. Well, best of the bowlers with 3 for 35 from his 4 overs. In the end, the Heat claimed their second win of the season by 20 runs. You know what I said a moment ago, by best of the Heat bowlers was Xavier Bartlett, because apparently the man of the match went to Big Schwepson with his figures of 2 for 26 from his 4 overs. Pretty strange, to be honest, but yeah. So that's pretty much it for this video. Obviously tonight, is the Melbourne Stars Perth Scorchers game, the first game for the Big Bash season at the mighty MCG tonight. So like this video, share this to anybody who's a Sydney Sixers fan or a Brisbane Heat fan. Comment down below. Even though it's still, even though the tournament started, but we're still in the early days. Who's your tip? So who's your early tip to win the Big Bash this season? Is it the Sydney Sixers? Will it be the Brisbane Heat, or do you think it'll be the Perth Scorchers again? I would love to hear your thoughts and opinions, and especially get your thoughts and opinions about what happened the other night at Geelong. I'd like to hear your thoughts. Do you think that there should have been an alternative instead of abandoning it? Do you think they made the right call? In my opinion, they made the right call, but I want to hear your thoughts about that as well. And lastly, somewhere down there, click on the big red button which is labelled subscribe. But until next time, guys, I'll see you guys later, and wherever you may be, may the sun or the moon shine on your Big Bash team this summer.